Hey everyone, it's MJ and the pen is mightier than the sword. I'm back with another video. This one will be about 5G, Alexa's mind reading device, and the technology that they have to weaponize sound waves and electromagnetic waves. Also, we'll be doing another video about electromagnetic fields and the Schumann resonance and how 5G is affecting the Earth's electromagnetic field, which your brain is connected to. It's called the Schumann resonance. You could look it up yourself. I'll do a video about that. I want to get into Alexa's commercial at Super Bowl and how they're showing you they have the technology to read your mind.
What's up? Alexa, it's game day.
Streaming football on Prime Video. Closing blinds. Chilling rosé. Rosé?
Well, it's an afternoon game.
It's like she can read your mind. I love that we get to sleep in. Ordering fresh mint mouthwash. Extra strength.
I was thinking I should get a spray tan, because that's on Wednesday.
Activating blender.
Funeral's on Monday.
Oh, that's the gold, Papa. Can't you see? The treasure all along. It was here.
Love the eye patch. When does the show open?
March 8th.
Setting reminder to fake your own death on March 8th.
What the?
When you have to do those love scenes with hot guys, is that fun or is that like the worst?
It's the worst.
Tell me lies, tell me sweet little lies.
Scarlett, this bread is delicious. Did you make it?
Yes, it's from my Gammy's recipe.
Announcement. Gammy is short for she bought it at Whole Foods. Announcement. Colin left the oysters in the car for 5 hours.
It's probably better Alexa can't read your mind.
Bad idea.
That's the game.
Yeah, technology is going to be the cause of the fall of man, I believe. Not only is cell phone radiation causing cancer, and so are microwaves actually, but it could also be used for pain-inflicting military weapons. Pause the video here. Active denial system. Basically, it was deployed in the Afghanistan war, and it was also used by the Los Angeles Sheriff's Department to use the technology on prisoners in the detention center in Los Angeles, and it basically could break up riots, fights, and well, I'm going to show you a video of how the active denial system could do that.
Playing the role of an unruly mob at Georgia's Moody Air Force Base are about to fall prey to an invisible ray. The hulking panel atop this Humvee is part of what the U.S. military calls the active denial system, or ADS. It's designed to incapacitate enemy combatants with an unnerving, non-lethal sensation of intense heat. Watch as the ray silently strikes and scatters the crowd.
The active denial system has three great characteristics. First of all, it's safe. Second, it's effective. And third, it has a tremendous range compared to the other non-lethal weapons that today's warfighter has.
This is the heart of this 100 kilowatt transmitter. This is the gyrotron. 200 kilowatts of electricity is fed in, and 100 kilowatts of radio frequency comes out. That millimeter wave energy comes out an aperture underneath the main reflector, hits the subreflector, which illuminates that main reflector, and sends a roughly antenna-sized beam downrange. Those holes that you see in the antenna are for the cameras and other visual equipment that the operator uses so that he knows exactly where that beam is going.
It's operated by a joystick. The operator looks into the console, sees exactly what that antenna is aimed at, moves the joystick left, the antenna slews to the left, same way to the right. Then when there's an individual who's identified as a troublemaker, he has a cursor. He can put that cursor on that individual, pull the trigger that's on the joystick, and the energy is sent downrange at the speed of light.
The electromagnetic radiation released by the active denial system is similar to the microwaves in your microwave oven, in that it causes the water molecules in the target to become excited and heat up. But that's where the similarity ends. The ADS is designed to heat only the very surface of the skin. It does this by outputting only the carefully chosen radio wave frequency of 95 gigahertz. Even though it can easily penetrate clothing, the ADS generates a much shorter and safer wavelength of radio waves than those used in microwave ovens.
The active denial system millimeter wave directed energy beam reaches 1/64th of an inch into human skin. So that is the outermost layer of the skin, roughly equivalent to about 3 sheets of notebook paper. It is essentially affecting the pain nerves in the outermost layer of the skin, eating them up and causing an immediate repel effect.
Even these stoic servicemen, aware of what's about to happen,
Engage.
can't help but flinch when they feel the heat.
This is the first time I've experienced the beam from the active denial system, and it feels like an intense warmth feeling, kind of similar to opening a very hot oven door, and it's a compelling feeling that you want to get out of the way of this beam. If you were not expecting this, it would definitely shock you and make you want to move.
The ADS represents just the latest effort to devise an effective ray weapon.
Alright, so as you can see in that video, they could basically use millimeter waves to break up a riot that is almost 550 yards away, and it's use a visible beam of energy to reach the riot and affects the nerves on the outer layer of the skin. I also believe it will affect a lot of other things if they turned it up. And they could also use it with 5G because 5G operates at the same gigahertz as the active denial system at 95 gigahertz. So basically, they could take this and use it as a silent weapon to not only read your mind, control your mind. I mean, as you've seen in that video, it dispersed them so it controlled their nerves, which made their brain react. Now, take a look at this.
This is a test of the long-range acoustic device LRAD.
One acoustic device is gaining ground daily by being law enforcement's go-to choice for crowd control scenarios and search and rescue missions. That device is LRAD. I'm Terry Shepard, and this is Digital Justice. Robert, first question. What does LRAD stand for?
Long-range acoustic device.
Robert Putnam with LRAD Corporation gives the lowdown on this piece of popular yet contentious technology.
With the long-range acoustic device systems, we're able to project voice messages and alarm tones up to distances over 2 miles. It stays focused in a 30 to 60 degree beam, and by allowing us to do that, the people at the other end absolutely understand the instructions that are being given them, and we can give them the instructions in any language. We have a highly intelligible, very robust product now that's being sold throughout the world to militaries, commercial security, maritime security, and then also for wildlife protection and control. And for law enforcement, they appreciate having a device that really works for communication. Bolt arches don't cut it. In large outdoor situations, especially.
So how did this technology come about?
The genesis of LRAD really begins with the attack on the USS Cole in October of 2000. Here was a USS destroyer and a Yemeni port. They didn't know if it were fishermen or terrorists that were pulling alongside them until it was too late. They turned out to be terrorists, detonated, killed.
And we know what happened.
Yeah, it was bad. Killed many sailors, injured others, caused $1 billion of damage to the boat. And they had all this firepower on board, but they didn't know who these people were, so they couldn't take any action. Well, the whole point with LRAD is it fills a critical gap. How do we determine if they're friendlies or not, if they're not responding to radio calls?
When I got in front of the device, I could immediately hear its effectiveness.
This is a test of the long-range acoustic device LRAD. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
All right, guys, I have to say I'm a little worried walking up here like you're going to sneak in and turn it back on. Scott, you were the operator on that one.
Yes,
thank you. Right off the bat, first impression, I felt like there was a dude standing right here yelling in my ear, but it was really clear.
Here you have the back of the head unit where all the electronics are housed. You got the power switch you turn on. power is activated by the control unit, which you have the on-off position.
Right.
This is a standard MP3 player, so you can put whatever test files or any kind of audio media
Really?
on this
Okay,
MP3
okay.
player. You would be given food, water, and medical attention.
Because it can broadcast effectively up to 2 miles away and very powerfully. You can mount it on helicopters, fly over and be able to broadcast messages to hopefully the people that you're trying to find. Cover a lot of area quickly rather than putting, in some cases, hundreds of people on the ground right in the bushes trying to find people. And then for suicide situations from bridges or buildings, fire departments and high-rise situations.
Can also be used more in a bit of an offensive or a defensive manner. Well, how does that work for that?
Well, I think you're referring to our alarm tone capability of this. So that's what's gotten most of the interest from people out there on the other side. We really don't look at this as any kind of a weapon, non-lethal or otherwise.
And though reluctant to speak on camera, law enforcement officials stand behind LRAD.
The alarm tone is mostly used, especially in law enforcement applications, especially when protests get out of control or you get large crowds. And with LRAD, that fills that critical gap between bullhorns and rubber bullets.
But many groups, including the ACLU, have issues with LRAD.
I think LRAD has no place at public events and forums, especially ones that any free speech expression activity is too intimidating, it's too scary, and so chills speech that we want to encourage in a democracy.
Are these machines causing any harmful side effects to the eardrums and the senses? Some would say it is possible that they are. So that would be considered torture.
My wife had one used on her in Oakland. It was like a kind of psychological torture. Like it's in your brain and you can't think, you can't move.
I'd rather be tased, shot with a rubber bullet, maced, and then kicked in the balls than have my eardrums erupted.
Like anything else, if it's too loud, like a fire siren or a police siren, you put your hands over your ears.
Right.
By doing that, it has 25 dB of sound pressure level instantly. You can still hear it, you can still understand it, but it's not going to hurt your hearing.
Right.
It's just a different thing to have this, magical voice being beamed at you or even bringing you down. Traditional public order policing has its value.
Well, I think you have some people out there, especially during protest situations, who view this as, hey, this is not allowing us to protest or do what we want. We know of one case in regards to the Pittsburgh G20 summit where LRAD was deployed.
By order of the City of Pittsburgh Chief Police, I hereby declare this to be an unlawful assembly.
And I think that was the first time that a police department had used LRAD in a high-profile event. And what they were interested in is keeping the property damage down and the number of arrests down. That's the bottom line of LRAD. It's the ability to use long-range, powerful, highly intelligible communication to resolve uncertain situations peacefully, to determine intent, and potentially save lives on both sides of the long-range acoustic device.
Guys, that was a really actually great demo. And maybe could I borrow this for a party? Come on. There you have it.
So not only can they use millimeter waves and radio frequencies, but also sound waves. And here's the ADS gigahertz waves. It corresponds to the wavelength of 3.2 millimeters. So basically they can reach you from 600 yards away and put something in your nerves that can make you irritated and make you react to it. That's a form of mind control. I will also be making another video of how 5G is basically MK Ultra, I believe, revamped, to try to control society. It's all about control for these people. They work for the devil, and the devil wants control of your soul. Don't be misled. Don't be misguided. Don't fall. Stay safe, and God bless. Thank you.